So today, I want to know more about how you're using AI to build your website, because I think a lot of I think a lot of folks are probably underutilizing AI today. And I think what you showed me the other day is very different than maybe like what you would do last year.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah. Okay, cool. Are we into it? It's not a hey Matt, hey Ann, how are you? Are we
Just get into
we're
it. Just get into
blasting?
it.
Let's get
Just get
into it.
in.
Okay. I'm so excited to talk about this tool today because this week alone has been epic in my understanding and knowledge base and then usership of Lovable. I think Lovable is one of the most phenomenally easy AI products to produce things that business leaders and business owners need. And I'm going to give you two cases this week alone that me, little old Annie, right? That we always joke about, like, I'm not AI, I'm not tech, I'm not a CTO, a COO. I don't have any tech background whatsoever. And so a lot of times I just align with and meet and partner with really smart people like you. And I collect really great, knowledgeable people in the tech space. And I'm like, Kate, tell me what I need to know. Show me the tools. And I think a while ago, a couple weeks ago, you said Lovable. You kind of put that in my
Mm-hmm.
ear. So I'd already had it up. I was kind of thinking about it and I was looking around. I was like, there was still a level of fear and kind of separation. Like, I don't know that I feel comfortable using this yet. There wasn't an adoption level yet. Then what sparked the usage of it the first time this week is and maybe when we share this podcast, I'll reshare it with the link to my presentation that I'm talking about, because I have a live Lovable link to this presentation I did in literally less than 5 minutes. So what happened was, it was a business that turned into a win very quickly because of Lovable. So the first case was, I'm a part of this really big professional networking group, and they had
Mm-hmm.
asked me to do the kind of 10-minute highlight spotlight presentation. And tasks had gotten away from me, and I poorly managed my time on this, I'll confess. And I did not prepare my business presentation for it. And now I will say, of course, I have a canned business presentation, but that's for Fix and Form. That's for 10 to launch. That's for like one thing. And as we've been talking about in this whole series of OnlyFounders, I've been working on my personal brand, my thought leader brand of Anne, which encompasses all of the things I'm a founder of, which is the podcast, the two businesses, and kind of my expertise. So I wanted to use this opportunity to present on that, but I have not created any assets, websites, content, anything for that yet. So I was kind of a deer in headlights, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have 30 minutes until this presentation and I have nothing. But here's what I did have. I had a brand styles guide and logo. So I had a color palette,
Mm-hmm.
fonts, and logo that I had tasked earlier this year. I loved one of my junior designers who I met by guest lecturing, who was in college. And I said, hey, you have a brilliant design eye. I want to task you with doing kind of a case study work of my personal brand. What would you do? So we went through strategy meetings, and now he's going to use it on his portfolio website too. And he crafted this beautiful brand style sheet that I have. So I had that, right? And then I had all the language, because that's what I do. I'm a brand therapist. This is what I do for clients. So I had all my language of what I wanted to say about myself. But AI can greatly enhance what you say. And then I've already been working with the clients and the developers and the designers in Fix and Form for 11 years. So I'm very clear on what to say for design and development input
Right.
on building websites. That's what I didn't realize helped my prompting. So me prompting is literally just me at work as I'm managing client projects, because I'm prompting people of, you need to change this. No, what they're really saying is they don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
The language now to use around development and design. And that is all you're doing with AI. So this was really cool. So I feel like I'm a prompting wizard. And I feel like I finally started patting myself on the back. So I'm like, I get how to prompt. I can teach people how to prompt because I get it. I get how you it's a communication tool, right?
Right.
So when I said, oh shit, and I remembered the website you gave me was Lovable, and I was like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're just going to do it. It was a rushed, in the moment adoption. And I went to Lovable, and it said, create a presentation. And I was like, yes, please. And I literally gave it, I prompted my ass off. I gave it all of my website link URLs to, closed source, where you're going to source this content from. I gave it my full name, and I said, Google my full name. You can tell it to do this and search up anything that AI produces under Ann Gillespie, because I happen to know, I've Googled myself enough and I've controlled the space enough with all my backlinks. I Google myself to know exactly what shows up there, and it's accurate. So actually, AI and what is it called? Google's, what is it called? Google's AI, Gemini, thank you. I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever Gemini produces for Ann Gillespie when you search is completely accurate. So now I can actually prompt and say, use Google to search Ann Gillespie, this spelling, and anything that pulls up in Gemini, use as content to describe the bio of Ann Gillespie. So that's like my prompt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've already vetted it. I know it's good. So I'm like carefully prompting where to pull the content pieces for this presentation and what I want it to highlight and how many slides I want it to be. I say 10 minutes or less presentation. You have to frame it all out in your prompting. And literally I gave it 5 pictures of me that I had just saved on my computer. I have my headshots. And then I gave it all 3 logos for Fix, Inform, Tend to Launch, and OnlyFounders. And then I gave it all the correct links I want it to use for contact. So my email and my LinkedIn. And then I said, this is the format I wanted in, which is what the group gave me. Intro,
Mm-hmm.
background, like their present. I said, format it like this. And literally, I went to go get water. And I came back. I had the most beautiful, captivating presentation. I corrected a couple of things. You have to prompt it. On this
Right.
slide, change this with this. You have to be very specific. So that takes time. Once I got it done, I published that baby, and I was like, said a prayer. I'd never presented this before. I've never presented a presentation that was a live URL. I didn't know how Zoom share was going to go. It was a meeting of 40 plus people. I said, fuck it. We're going to ship it, because that's what we do. So I shipped it. And literally, came time to me, I was so nervous. I was like, I hope this works, because it was all new for me. Went through my presentation, shared my URL, like opened it in a separate space, just hoping everything would work. It all integrated fine. It was great. Presented, and at the end, got so much praise. Like, wow, that was so captivating. And most of those presentations at these networking groups and peer-to-peer groups are not captivating. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We won't knock all of them, but a lot of them lose you on slide 2. And this presentation that Lovable created for me, people were there. They were in it. They were reading it. They were excited to read it. Visually,
Well, part
it
of it is
beautiful.
what you're talking to, though, right? The presentation's more like B-roll, right?
True.
Right. Think about it. If maybe someone else was using that, they'll probably still fall off that slide too, because I think you can tell a great story. I think that's an unfair advantage. So
Thank you.
I think less on Lovable. I mean, I wouldn't give Lovable that much credit. I think the point more or less, like, you were able to get something polished right out of the gate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
It
you
was
can use
literally
it right away.
a 5-minute pitch deck because of a beautiful AI tool that literally organizes my brain. And instead of me going through the hours and hours of admin work that it does take to produce a deliverable like that for a client, I literally could do it on myself because I had the images, I had the brand style sheet, the fonts, the color palette. I had everything, the logos, the access, the links, the contact. This is all of the requirements gathering that we go through with the client every time we produce brands for them, which is annoying. And so we have to do all that logistic work and admin work. And honestly, because I saw that presentation come to fruition and I literally had 5+ LinkedIns immediately when I was presenting, and then a few one-on-one coffee schedule follow-ups. Hey, you are a person I want to know. You're a person I want to meet. I want to hear more. That presentation was awesome. Let's connect. I loved it. Like, visually appealing. It was so cool. So I finally feel like I found a tool that matched my storytelling capability as a human, that then is an AI tool to meet me in it and then just speed up all the brunt work of it and the admin. And it finally saw me in it. And I said, okay, I have all the goodies. Like, let's throw it in. And it just was like this. It felt like my witch's pot, like a stew. And I was just like, poof, 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 like, and then it was just this potion and it was boom. And I didn't know if it was going to hit. I thought it looked great, but then it's you, right? You're a case study of one. And when I got all the feedback on it, I was just thought, oh my gosh, what an incredible tool.
It's the baseline. I mean, that's base. I think we're early in it still, but
Yeah.
it's not just Lovable, Base 44, Reapolit. They can all do the same exact thing. And
Right.
the point is you don't need to go through the typical, like, whether it's waterfall or agile process of going from
Oh,
start to finish, right?
right.
Just
Right.
put it out and iterate, and then there's your V1, right? You can,
Yeah.
if you want
Well, what was so neat about that process was it literally gave me the confidence on a lower level, low bar deliverable to then take it forward and say, I now feel confident as the user in my adoption of what this thing can do. I have been wanting to develop the AnnGillespie.com website for months now. And I've been toying with how I was going to do that. I'm in the space of it so I could use my own team, but I never want to take advantage of resources because I'm a friend or because I give them work, or I don't ever want to do that. But a lot of the people I know would say, oh, I'll just do it for you. But I don't feel good about that because I want to pay them for their talent. But I also don't know that I wanted to spend any money on it right now because I could do it. So I've built websites before. I've used the old clunky website builders. I know WordPress in and out. I'm just not a developer, not a designer, and I stay in my lane. So I've often said I can do it, doesn't mean I should do it. So then I thought about, well, my husband builds websites left and right. He's extremely creative. He could do it. He also has a really full plate with his work. And I don't want to be an annoyance to that, right? And then I thought there was some level of pride if version 1 was produced and designed and created by me, because it's the first AnnGillespie.com website ever. And I know there's going to be more versions of it. So then I kind of got that pride, and that guided me to say, I think I can do it in Lovable. I'm going to try. Then we had a 10 to launch owners meeting this week with Roger and Shannon, and Roger is incredible with all the AI tools, the Robot Wrangler. And we were talking about actually evolving the 10 to launch business model with all these new tools that are out there, which actually pivoted and has enhanced and improved the efficiency of our 10 to launch business model alone in 1 week. And in talking about changing our business model, I thought, well, I'm going to be a case study for a client user of this tool, of this process, just to see what I can do with it. And then it'll help aid our owners meetings for 10 to launch on how we're going to deliver this to our clients. And so I just started like messing around with it because of that owners meeting. And Roger told us a couple of different tidbits and things to keep in mind and how it works. And it doesn't really have a CMS just yet. So if you were a client, you would want something a little more.
Do you need a CMS?
You
Why do you need a CMS?
Because
you
the
just
only
tell
way
AI to prompt away whatever you want.
No. So from the client side, if you're an agency building them a website, a lot of clients don't feel comfortable prompting. So we didn't want the CMS model to be the prompting.
But you can. They could just tell them what they want.
But a lot of the 10 to launch model that we're doing is just really quick in and out, and then we hand it off to them and they manage it because we don't have the
this
ongoing.
this is where things are changing, and I already see it today. The old CMS model's gone because who would want to spend even 30 minutes managing, dragging, dropping little UI, saying, okay, this is going to be the SEO title. This is going to be here's the content hierarchy. Here's the informational hierarchy. Those days are gone.
I see you in that, but I'm going to challenge you with a lot of our clients with 10 to launch and Fix and Form, the agency client. They'll have a VA or a marketing team or a support person that they want to manage their own website moving forward. They don't want website management, even though we offer it. And they want something easy to manage. They'll even ask us to build sites on GoDaddy and on Squarespace so that they can manage it, and that's what they feel comfortable in, and we can't stand it. But we still have clients that do that. So what
I'm saying is not now. It is because the whole idea with Lovable, I don't even really think it picked up until the summer, right? And it hasn't hit mainstream. Still very early adopter.
No, it's early adopter.
But GoDaddy, all the other tools are going to do the same thing. It's just a matter of time. So when you say, well, GoDaddy's going to do it, and Squarespace, if they're on GoDaddy, instead of them doing that, they're just going to prompt it away. It's just not there yet.
I agree with you. I think
1 year from now, the whole idea of like, we have bespoke user interface, like the idea of like, what WordPress looks like. Any interface that looks like that is gone. Right? But even Chipbot's interface, like we're looking at it as like, people just want to prompt away and they want to do one-liners. They want to say one line action, one
But
line
the
research.
adoption of the agency client who would hire someone to do their website, the adoption and the comfort and the skill of them prompting to make changes isn't there. So
And
if they were,
that is all going to change, because not only is every industry being disrupted by AI, but like even just the idea I showed you the other day with Atlas, like the whole idea that everyone becomes a prompting expert, like that's going to happen. Just like how you kind of figured out your
but you're
prompting.
talking about human behavior, and that takes much longer than a year to shift, in my opinion.
No, I'm talking about capitalist markets. I'm talking about if when your competitor is able to ship faster than you, you're dead if you
Right.
can't move fast. So I'm not even talking about adoption. I'm talking about you're forced to move based on how the market moves.
Right.
Once the market, every industry has an emergence that comes up. Everything about human behavior is going to be thrown out the window because now order is gone, right? Oh, this company
Interesting.
that came out of the woodwork is saying they can do all the work we do, but half the price and 2x faster. That's a problem,
Yeah, agree with you. I agree with you. But I
right?
also
And they're going to be
know,
like, well, it's because you can do these new tools,
I
and that's
also
going to be the
know
disruptor.
the profile of the clients that we're meeting next week, like literally today, not in a year or two.
Yeah.
And they need an easier, they're not going to
Oh
go
yeah,
on
today,
and manage
but
But what we found is Roger's actually going to build out a custom CMS portal that literally he just builds. And then we're just going to literally integrate that into the entire Lovable system. So
Yeah.
we can build the Lovable site on our end with all of our prompting,
But Anne,
but they can manage it after that.
anyone can make a CMS too in Lovable in one day, right?
Exactly. But they don't
What's
know
the
that.
point? What is the point of making what is the point of a bespoke CMS, or what is the point of a unified CMS when code is so easily created and thrown away on demand? The idea and premise of software saying, "Hey, look at our great software."
It's the
That makes
person
no
who's doing
sense
it though,
when
Matt.
AI can when you can just go on a prompt and say, "Hey, copy that software, make it for me."
You're talking about clients who have absolutely zero AI knowledge and they don't have an interest in learning AI. That's who we're talking about.
I'm talking about the agencies that you compete with.
Yeah, we're not
Right?
talking about that. We're talking about the clients who are buying us and hiring us to do this. They want a website built quickly and then they want to manage it. And the way they're comfortable managing it isn't through prompting, it's through a CMS.
I think you're going to see, it's not now, but I think in at least probably a year's time.
In the future.
I don't even think it's that long. I think in a year, because there's agencies coming and going really fast in this actually past month.
Yeah.
And I see it two ways. You have more business owners that can do it on their own because of AI, because no one wants to spend even $1,000 to do this for someone else to do it.
Right.
And then second, the agencies that are still around, like Fix and Form, what happens is you have to have even a faster model just to compete with the other agencies also doing early adoption. Right. So I'm agreeance that, I agree with the customers. They don't really want it. Your clients don't want it. They want a complete white glove.
Ideally,
that's
we would want to
100%
manage everybody's websites. And then ideally, we won't have a CMS. We'll just literally manage it with prompting. That's all we're doing. That's how Tend to Launch is set up.
That's the future. That is the future.
That's how Tend to Launch is set up. Yeah, if we had everybody just had us manage and host all of it and do all that, which is what we're looking to do with that model, we don't need the CMS. But we have the custom CMS Roger's creating for the clients who say, well, we really want to manage our site after this. But in the time we have, because I'm looking at the clock, I want to share this second case study that I use Lovable for this week. Because I felt super confident from the presentation, I then went in and I figured out in Lovable how to prompt my ass off. I spent like an hour and a half literally fighting with my robot and was like, no, not there. And then I was literally getting mad. I was like, fuck you. No, put it center. Like I was literally getting mad because I was so frustrated with a few components of it that were very tricky. And if I didn't have the comfort and knowledge and knowing AI, that knowing it would understand me eventually, I even got a few error codes that freaked me out. It wiped my entire site at one point. And I was like, does it still exist? But I knew to just give it time. Because of my usage of AI tools so far, I was okay. But if I was not me, that could have freaked someone out and they would have not had patience to give it time to catch up. And then they would have closed the whole thing and said, fuck it, I'm done. So there is a level of confidence with AI usage with using a tool like this to do that project because there were a lot of errors. It was still catching up. It was weird. It didn't get the right. I pasted in an image of a font. I have literally Amsterdam 4 is one of my signature accent fonts, and it could not get it right for the life of me. And I was like, this is a Canva file. I'm literally like importing a Canva file with a transparent background, and they could not do it. It was weird. So the prompting was iffy on a few design parts that really were annoying. And so that's where I had almost some hangups that I quit, but I didn't. I just kept realizing, I knew I would go to ChatGPT and I would just ask it to form a better prompt for what I was doing. And then I was realizing it was the way I was saying it. So there was some learning involved too. But essentially what happened was I started playing around with it as a case study for 10 to Launch to see if this would really produce high quality designs of a website if we had the human powered story, content, all the things we do in our strategy work, because there still has to have that level of human touch to get all of those things. Then we have the content, the copy, we have the strategy, we have the brand that's actually established, right? What we're looking to do, where we're looking to go, what are we selling? That still needs to be a part of the process, right? That AI shouldn't really be doing for you. But when you have those assets, and then you have pictures, imagery, icons, logos, fonts, colors, and you just prompt with all of those assets and attach everything, it was beautiful. So a side note to finish this episode, if you go to annegillespie.com, it's done. I don't know if you've been there, Matt, but like if you go to my website.
You texted to me the other day. That's how we started this.
That's how we started this. Okay, I didn't know who I texted to. So, and then I figured out there's a really easy domain setup where you basically just go through their domain wizard. I already had the hosting for it. I already had the URL. I was like, oh shit, how do I do all that? I don't know how to do all that. My developer does that. They have an easy peasy, connect your domain here. I gave it access to GoDaddy where I host everything. Then I went in and forwarded all of the URLs that I own around this brand directly to this, hosted it, set it all up. DNS was done. It was like all the work was magically done. That alone, there's these little flies in here. That work alone saved me what normally is a headache of back and forth with a developer or my techie husband, who I take advantage of all the time for his brain.
Let me, Adam, we'll close on this point, is all that work. So say you had a company that says, I don't want to do anything. Well, you know what they do have to do is they have to contact someone to say, I want this done. You don't want changes? There's something called agentic agency.
Yes.
That is literally doing all that. All you have to do is say, I want this. And it does produce everything. So the world is going into AI, whether you want to prompt minimally or you want to prompt the details. Just depend where you are is what path you want to choose.
I agree with you.
We'll have to see. It's not now.
It's exciting. I actually think, man, if there are all of these agents, right? At some point, I think 10 to Launch is literally just going to be very, very little human whatsoever. 10 to Launch was crafted for this concept. It's using an agent. It's getting all the content, the deliverables that we need to then inform the other AI agent that's like producing all of it. Like it's literally not going to need a lot of human touch, right? Which was the whole point of us creating this second kind of branding product. And probably I would assume with you in the next 5 years, Fix and Form will have to really pivot and figure out where it belongs in the market with all of this, right?
I think it's 1 year. I think because
1 year, okay.
Well, look at all the jobs being laid off, right? So I just had this conversation. I mean, there's a whole conversation around
1 year, 5 years, maybe we'll meet in the middle of 3.
The market's moving so fast at enterprise level, and it's small business. They're slow to adopt, but it goes at enterprise and works its way down. So by the next big round of layoffs is in December, January.
Yeah.
That's when you'll start seeing the whole 2026 crazy adoption of like maybe what I'm seeing today is like the small businesses are going to be like, hey, we're forcing Lovable. There'll be like 30 competitors for Lovable.
Well, and when you're in the business tech space like you are, you see this left and right constantly.
No, I see this in non-tech space.
Really? Because I was going to say, we are in the consulting services, partner, cozy up to you, business owners that are not techie at all.
Look at Google Trends.
And I'm
not saying it from a bubble. Look at Google Trends and look at AI consulting and look at where agency consulting is going, like marketing consulting, SEO consulting, all tanking. It's
Yeah.
AI consulting going forward.
Yeah.
So that's the trend
Industry.
for small business in 2026. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
the industry we're heading in.
once the public markets are pricing in that you have to be there,
Mhm.
small market the private businesses or small businesses, they'll
Will
follow.
catch up. Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
They have to. I think we're positioned in a great place for that. And I do think just my usage of it alone, of leading these agencies in this way to understand what these tools can even do to speak it to someone, right? You have to be able to communicate and
Right.
tell what you can do or what you can help them with. I mean, hell, I can help tons of people now quickly build. I could literally just make this my consulting service now is I'll build your whole website in Lovable since I did mine. I just
That's
need to
what's
get some key information from
if you go
you.
on Google Trends, that's already an uptick. Creating websites with AI. It's not necessarily lovable, but creating websites with AI.
Maybe that should be a new blog post, how I created my website using AI, and it's just
Who
my whole
reads a
journey.
blog? Just post it on social media.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a reel of it. And then I remembered we were
Yeah,
doing this podcast and I was like, well, we already have a podcast about it too. So I'll just do a reel and
do a
use all the
reel. Do like
keywords.
a 30-second reel of like, here's how I did it.
Yeah.
Probably get a cuss. I'll bet money you'll get a lead from it.
You think so?
I mean, I think with your following and viewership, you do the right 3 hashtags. I bet like 80% you get a lead from it.
I love the bets today. 80% get a lead from it. Cool. This was fun. I'm glad that I got to experience this week and it gave us a episode topic, which is fantastic.
Cool. But yeah, thanks for sharing your experience. We got to dive more into the AI stuff. I
Yeah.
know a lot of founders would use this, are still like either hesitant or already adopting. There's like two sides. So I definitely want to dive more into this. But
if you're listening to this episode and you have questions about using Lovable and you want it from a person who's not techie, contact me. I'm happy to help.
yeah, that's actually a good point.
My goodies.
Talk to me. I'm going to be too technical.
Yeah, talk to Matt. You're gonna be like, what? And then talk to Ann. You'll be like, oh yeah, this is my cup of tea. This makes sense.
Yeah. Cool.
Happy to help.
That's it for this episode. Thanks, Ann. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. Bye, guys.